I've increased the size of my game's character, and in a previous video I've talked about the impact of that on the jump physics. That was the catalyst of me deciding to change this size, but it has a lot of follow-on effects. Number one is that it takes up more screen space, which in turn means that all the animations are suddenly a lot more readable. Before, at the very small size, a lot of the animations felt kind of awkward and just like a garbled mess of movement. Now with the character being bigger, they're a lot more readable, and that makes the gameplay also feel a bit more impactful. It also means that the quality of the animations does need to be higher than it needed to be before. But obviously, the most important thing that has changed is the difference between how the world is experienced. Before, the whole world felt like this very imposing, way bigger than yourself deal that you were exploring. Because of the size of my character, the acceptable walking speed also had a limit to it. Now that the character is bigger, he can move a little bit faster through the world as well, making it just a little less tedious to get around and to explore. But with the player being bigger, I've also opted to make all of the enemy designs bigger. With all of those gameplay elements being scaled up pretty significantly at this point, that also means that a lot of the empty space that I had before now gets filled up a lot more effectively with either the player or the enemy. Where I needed about 4 enemies to make an area feel kind of populated before, only 2 or maybe 3 do the trick now. That means that the enemy AI can be focused much more on individual encounters rather than needing to worry about there being 5, 10, maybe even more characters on screen at once. And this also works out on a other thing that I've talked about in a different video, and that is my decision to introduce contact damage into my game. Since everything was so relatively small, the difference between being close enough to hit an enemy or close enough to run into an enemy was a pretty small margin. But now that my character is bigger, his weapon is bigger, the area of an attack also now has become bigger. The distance between being able to land an attack and being in the danger zone of running into an enemy has become more forgiving as well. And if you want to hear more about that, you can always follow this account for more videos like this and supporting the game development itself by adding it to your wishlist on Steam.